There's a small thing called the meaningful vote tomorrow in Parliament. What happens to pound depending on how it goes? First of all, will Theresa May be able to get it through?
Well, that looks very unlikely at this point. In fact, as you know, as of this morning, there's even talk of the vote being pulled. So, I mean, look, if by extraordinary she was able to get the deal through with perhaps any last-minute concessions today from the EU, which again seems very unlikely as of now, this would boost the pound, at least temporarily, until people realize that, oops, we still don't know anything about the future relationship, and there's a lot of uncertainty remaining. But certainly that's not priced in right now, so that would be a good surprise. But again, we don't expect that with a high likelihood.
What's priced in the pound at the moment? There seems to be a feeling that actually there'll be an extension no matter what happens, unless she gets a deal through. Will there really be an extension? Is it a 3-month extension? Is it a 12-month extension? Because it changes everything.
Well, I mean, look, we went to 133-ish when it seemed for sure that there would be an extension and that no deal was off the table. We're now back below 130, 129 or so. So clearly markets are a bit more nervous that, oops, maybe it's not in the bag that there will be an extension, or maybe there will be an extension, but we'll be back exactly in the same place in 2 or 3 months. And that's definitely a risk. So I think until we have to get through this week to really see how much support there is for no deal and how much and how long is the extension. I think there's still this question of, do we get a short extension or do we get a 21-month extension, in which case we still have as much uncertainty but for much longer.
Isabelle, for United Kingdom business, why can't the United Kingdom be Norway? Wolfgang Munchow writes in the FT today, and he said this many times on Surveillance, that the sensible outcome is for the United Kingdom to be Switzerland, to be Iceland, to be Norway. Why can't that happen?
Well, because the Prime Minister has set out a red line, which is no freedom of movement. And Switzerland, Norway, and others have accepted freedom of movement. So that's very simple. If the red line of the UK were to change, and the EU has made that very clear, a solution similar to Switzerland or Norway would solve the problem, would make the backstop redundant. But we're not there yet. We're not anywhere near that, in fact.
Well, we're not there yet as well. So we're going to have a vote. Let's say the Prime Minister goes down in flames. What do you and BlackRock look for in the coming days as we stagger to March 29th?
Well, look, there's 2 more votes scheduled for this week. Well, they're not firmly on the schedule, but they will be if the meaningful vote on Theresa May's deal is rejected tomorrow. So the day after, there should be a vote on no-deal Brexit.
Right.
We expect that to be rejected because there's no majority in Parliament for that. And then on Thursday, there will be a vote on whether to seek an extension. So that will give us a bit of clarity, at least, on putting off no deal for a bit longer. That should give some respite.
Isabelle, does Europe actually give them anything? Right. I mean, it seems that we're looking at Europe to see whether they can make this easier for Theresa May at all.
I think it's very hard. I mean, for one thing, public opinions on the continent are not focused on this at all. You open European newspapers, there's very little discussion of Brexit, and sharp contrast to here. So that's number one. There isn't like a strong pressure to do something. Number two, the Europeans would probably be willing to give something if they knew for sure that it gets the deal through Parliament. But right now, there is no such thing that is clearly, you know, a game changer. So I think, unfortunately, they're not in a mood right now to make a concession that would be enough for Theresa May to get the deal through.